In today's video, we're going to be talking about how much do I need for closing costs? Well, let's first define what closing costs are, why you would need them, and how much would you need depending on the property that you are going to purchase. So welcome to my channel. My name is Genevieve Stafford Jack, and here is where we switch over straight into the Ooba app so that we can talk this whole process through straight from a tool that will be able to assist you going forward on establishing how much do I need for my closing costs. Awesome. So in today's topic, as I shared, how much will I need for closing costs? What I need you to do, open Google as I have, and then you type Ooba, not the Uber that you drive around with, but OOBA, and you press enter. Ooba is, as you can see, it's South Africa's leading home loans experts. And on here, they have multiple calculators. And in here, once you go onto the Ooba website, you click on home loans. When you click on home loans, you'll find calculators. And this will be able to explain to you in terms of your closing costs that you need. Now, let me define closing costs just before we get into using this particular calculator. Your closing costs, as you will see on this calculator, is bond registration costs and transfer costs, meaning when the bank is giving you the money to actually go and purchase the property, they are going to have to register a bond for you. So therefore, you will pay bond registration costs. And this is all the different fees that you will find under the bond registration costs. The second part of your closing costs is your transfer costs. So if a property is over $1 million, you will pay the transfer duty, which is a SARS tax component. But if it's less than $1 million, then you're just going to be paying your property transfer costs. Please take note, at the time of recording, which is the end of August, the transfer duty is as per 1 million and above. That's how you will pay the transfer duty. So say, for example, you go to the bank, you find a property of 500,000, right? And let us put in our 500,000. That is the purchase price. If you are fortunate enough and the bank says to you, no problem, I will give you the full loan to value, meaning the full amount that you will purchase the property for, I will give it to you at 500,000. Now, I want you to take notice of the following point. Nature of status. This is referring to the property. Is the property freehold, which means is it standing on its own as a house, or is it a sectional title, which is a flat or a townhouse, right? Now you want to know where you are investing, and we'll take this as an example as freehold. You can play with both options, right? In terms of the seller, 9 out of 10 times you're going to find that the seller is not registered for VAT, but it's also a good question to ask if the person is not selling in their personal capacity. So for this particular example, we're going to say no. The person is not registered for VAT because this was their primary residence that they stayed in. They purchased it in their name and they're just selling it as part of their personal assets. And then you want to answer the final question, which is the status of the purchase. And you're going to then be buying this particular property in your natural person, in the name of a company or in a trust. You'll be able to select those. We'll just go with natural person, and then we're going to say calculate. So now on a purchase property or a property that you're going to purchase at 500,000, your total costs that you need to have to close this particular property, which is your bond registration costs and your transfer costs, is 35,118 Rand, which includes VAT. Now, there's one little trick that I'd learned over time. Many property investors also know this one, or maybe you may not. Now, there's one trick that I'd learned over time, is that you always want to create a bit of a buffer. And I got it from a well-known source, which is an attorney. When you are using these calculators, add at least 3,000 to 5,000 on top of the cost, just so that you know your estimation is as closest to possible. So what I would do for this particular deal, I would make sure on the purchase price of 500,000 and the bank is lending me 500,000 and I'm buying a freehold, which is a freestanding property, and the seller's not registered for VAT, and I'm buying in my natural person, I will keep 40,000 instead of 35,000 plus aside for my closing costs. Now, closing costs is not only limited to bond registration costs and transfer costs. You can also include, if the purchase price is 500,000 and the loan amount is 400,000. Okay, let's recalculate that. You can then include the 400,000, making sure you've got your 33,000 plus about 5,000 on top of that one. So your 38,000, including another 100,000 for your deposit that you are going to pay the bank. So you want to have 138,000 for your closing costs so that you make sure that you are able to clinch this particular property at 500,000. And before I switch over, I also want to share with you that you may also consider adding your renovation as well into this if you've got any renovation, refurbishment costs. And then you'll say, well, the bank is going to give me 400,000, which then means I need 100,000 for deposit. My transfer cost as per this particular app that tells me 33,000, I want to add my extra 5,000. So I need 138,000 in my hand. But what if my particular renovation or refurbishment is 22,000? Then you would want to have 160,000 to ensure you are closing the deal with all the costs that are involved. Boom! I hope that was informative. I trust that that little trick or that little tool is going to assist you as you move forward in your property investing journey. So thank you so much for being with me this particular episode. I look forward to the next episode. Until then, be safe and be awesome.